Very good. And with those words, I'd like to introduce all the way from Austria, we have our first speaker. And I had the opportunity to speak to him yesterday. His name is Alexander Seifert, and he is a computer hacker. And he is working for a company called Hack Forward. And he has an interesting story to tell about what it is being what he is, a geek. Alexander.
Good morning. Or should I say, good morning, Stockholm. Thanks, Marie, for the joke. Thank you. So, good morning, Stockholm, once more. Thanks to Anders for this very nice introduction. And now that I'm sure that you're all awake, my initial joke that I wanted to tell you to wake you up is probably superfluous. So I'm just going to go ahead and tell you what my talk is about. The title is, as you can read, is Where Passion Meets Momentum. And this is actually a very vague title, but those of you who have read the abstract probably expect a clear outline of the road to conquer the world. Now, this may be a little much for just 15 minutes, but at least the foundation for that road I'm trying to get across as clear as possible. So essentially, this talk is about human resources, about people like me, about geeks. So I don't know what you think of geeks, but I really much like them. And that's why I subtitled this talk, A Few Good Geeks. So, my name is Pro3 Games, and I'm the founder and CEO of Alexander Seifert. Thanks for the reactions. That just shows that you're already awake. So this joke is actually, as I said, superfluous. But, right, so I'm Alexander Seifert, and I'm the CEO and founder of Pro3 Games. We are a very young games company trying to reinvent browser-based social games. And we just started out a couple of months ago. We have great support by our investors, which is Hack Forward. I don't actually work for Hack Forward, but I'm invested by them, so I have a strong bond with them. That's why, yeah, I'm going to talk a little about them too. Right. So this is a short bio of myself. Alex, the company, of course, I was founded in 1984. Or actually, I was just born, but I received a master's degree in science of engineering in media technology, which, well, has a lot to do with game development. So in my heart, I'm a true geek and a true passionate game developer. Shortly after I graduated from school, I was sold to a German company. So that was my first big job, basically. There, I worked actually in sales, not so much in games, but at least in the games industry. For the German company, I extensively traveled all over Europe, North America, Southeast Asia. I worked with lots of game studios all around the world. I had lots of exposure to, real contexts, to real geeky people, and to all of those work environments that they worked in. And this is where I drew all of my experience about geeks and work environment, human resources. Eventually, I decided that I wanted to do my own thing and returned back to Austria, where I come from. And I was looking for a venture capitalist. Basically, I wanted to have someone, a strong partner, to realize my ideas, which I already explained are about browser-based games and how to revolutionize them. And there, I found a strong partner in Hack Forward. So, Alex, or I, am a geek. What? What do you mean, a geek? What does it actually mean, a geek? Isn't a geek an unfashionable or socially inept person? Isn't a geek a carnival performer who does wild or disgusting acts? At least that's what the dictionary says. Well, maybe there's something true about the last one, but we'll see that later on in 1640 at the... Where is it taking place? At the hotel across the street? Right, the Scandic. But no, that is not what a geek is. Or who of you, please, audience, raise your hands if you believe that that is actually the true definition of a geek. Thanks. So, is that a geek? Is that Alex? I mean, yeah. Can you see the picture actually? It's really dark. Thank you. Yes, I do use Java, but only one of many people. Does anyone of you actually know this picture? Ah, okay. Because it's actually an advertisement for Java, and this is supposed to portray a Microsoft family. Anyway, so this is probably more like what you expect a geek to be, but still, that is very wrong. I'd like to read a short list of people that are true geeks, and for each of them that you know, I would like you to raise your hand, okay? So an easy one to start with is Mark Zuckerberg. Who knows that guy? Okay, easy. Lawrence Page. Or Larry Page. Okay. Sergey Brin. Okay, so those were the three easy ones. There were Facebook and, of course, Google. Now, Jack Dorsey. I guess it's the business people that raise their hands because that's the inventor of Twitter. Dennis Crowley. Very good. Foursquare. Larry Sanger. No one? Huh. He's not that much business related, but he invented the Wikipedia. Michael Morhaime. Blizzard Entertainment. Who plays video games? Do you know Blizzard Entertainment? World of Warcraft? Yeah, he's the guy behind that. Craig Alexander Newmark. Craigslist. Everybody knows that. Linus Torvalds. Finally, there are still some software engineers left in this room. Bjarne Stroustrup, the inventor of C++. And last but not least, the classic Tim Berners-Lee. Also very good. It's the World Wide Web. So what do those people and Alex have in common? They're all true geeks. And geeks are sexy. This quote is actually, this term is not an invention from myself. I quoted a French businesswoman. She said, geeks are sexy. And she was always looking for geeks, and she was always, trying to get the most passionate people on board of her enterprises. And this is imagine those people down there. Please lower your eyes. Those gorgeous girls are just photoshopped in there anyways. Those are the Sergeys, those are the Marks, those are the Larrys, the Craigs, and all the people that today are geeks or are considered true geeks. And I want to be down there as well. So what are true geeks? All those famous people, they all have tremendous business skills, but they have all in common a set of attributes, which is, for example, they're curious, they're communicative, they're creative, and they want to be part of something bigger. So those are hallmarks of true geeks. What does it imply? Curious means that they have a desire to grow. That means that they want to improve themselves, they want to break new grounds, that they want to find out new stuff, and then simply communicate it, sharing it. That's the second hallmark of a true geek, communication. Every geek is a good teacher and tries to, whatever they find out, share it with their colleagues. So they also elevate, they make the people surrounding them better. Communication, what do you think is the Wikipedia all about? What is file-to-file, peer-to-peer file sharing all about? Or open source software? This is all true geeks' work. They're creative. They have a desire to create. They want to create something new. So they always want to come up with new stuff, get the latest technology in their hand, play around with it, and see what they can do with it. That is how, say, Foursquare turned out to be. They want to be part of something bigger. So they have a huge desire to dedicate themselves to something. If it's not their own idea, it's at least one idea that is good enough for them to dedicate their whole being to it. But probably the most important thing is about geeks that they are true to themselves, which means that they are loyal. They're not primarily motivated by money. That's just a secondary motivation. What they really want to do is the four things that I just told you. They want to grow, they want to share, they want to create, and they want to dedicate themselves. So everything else is just secondary. So those attributes, in my opinion, is what denotes passion. I believe I don't really need to explain a lot about passion. Passion is basically everything, is basically that thing that drives everything in our lives. And you can't be successful without a lot of passion. So those geeks, simply because they are what they are, those people on the list that I just read to you, they all have passion for what they do. It's the most important thing in human resources to find in an employee. If there is no motivation, no passion for what they do, you might as well just, I don't know, get someone else to do it. Now, to look back to the title of my talk, where passion meets momentum, now you have passion. And geeks, not necessarily limited to geeks, but every person that exercises these qualities, they have passion. Now you need momentum. Momentum, that is something that you need to provide. I guess there are lots of upcoming CEOs and founders among you. Some of you already have their own companies. So you're the ones that provide momentum. Momentum is also a very vague expression, but it also boils down to, say, vision, networking, and action. Vision, of course, everybody needs to envision the road ahead. Everybody needs to be able to have vision and communicate that to whoever they want to convince about their idea. Networking is probably the most important thing, and I believe I don't really need to explain it here. Everybody's using Twitter, right? Right? So it's a huge communication thing, and this is what provokes serendipity and could create sort of a virtual Silicon Valley. Who of you has ever lived or worked in the valley, in the Silicon Valley? Not so many people. It's a tremendous place. It's a melting pot of talent, capital, schools, entrepreneurs, ideas, communication. Everything happens just around the corner, and this is one of the big things why serendipity is such a huge role in the valley. In Europe, we don't really have that luxury. We don't have that one single place where everybody comes together and exchanges ideas and money. All we have is, say, London, but that's a different story altogether. So in Europe, we have to use the free infrastructure that is available on the internet. All the communication tools that are around, we need to use them, utilize them intensively, simply to get connected, to stay together, and to create this strong network that will create serendipity and all those opportunities for business. And also, of course, action, meaning tenacious action, tenacity. Never quit. You need to be relentless in what you do. You need to simply follow up and strike through. Now, if you can provide that momentum to your employees, to your geeks, you're going to create what I call an infinite loop of motivation, an upward spiral. Passion meets momentum, creates passion, creates momentum, creates passion. So in the work environment, like at my own company, Pro3 Games, we employ only geeks. I mean, that doesn't mean a lot, probably, but what it creates is this upward spiral. We motivate each other all together, all the time. We create passion, we create momentum, and that is something that simply makes a key difference when running a regular company and a great company, at least as long as you're at a startup level. Now, where can you find that passion meets momentum? I was introduced to be working for Hack Forward. Not entirely true, I already explained it, but Hack Forward is exactly that movement. It's a venture capitalist, a business accelerator from Germany, from Hamburg. And they're doing a really, really great job in living that slogan where passion meets momentum. They are looking for true geeks, for teams 1 to 3 people. And that's the only target audience they have, and that's the only people that they invest in. They strongly believe that those people can change the world, can get on the road to conquer the world. And I believe that you can do the same. If you believe that you're a geek, just as I explained it to you, you should probably get in touch with those people or in touch with me and conquer the world. If you believe that you want to have those people, you can also just go out there, go to IT schools, try to find those geeks because they're the most valuable human resource you will ever have. That said, thank you.
Woo, woo, woo. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Now there's time for questions. We got any questions from the audience? I got a question for you. Please.
Hi, we forgot the female geeks.
Sorry?
No, it's not just the guys who are geeks. We forgot the female geeks on the picture.
Say again?
Geeks.
Yeah.
Also girls, not just the guys.
Of course,
Yes.
geeks and geeknesses.
Yes.
No, granted, there are lots of female geeks out there as well, but it just happens to be that it's considered a very guyish thing, and all of that IT programming, hacking, and devoting themselves to technology, it's just something that, at least in the last couple of decades, was very man-dominated. But it's changing, you're right. Especially with developments like Facebook and all the other, easy to use and easy to dive into technologies. A totally different approach is taken when publishing those. And this is also very well suitable for girls now.
Did he answer your question?
So I will tell. Is it on? So I will tell Tine at Hack Forward, a good friend of mine.
Say again, please.
Tine Tygesen, the
Yes.
super geek at Hack Forward. So
Yeah.
I
She had
will
an
tell
amazing
her.
talk at the
Yes.
last get-together at the Bill event of Mallorca.
Yes.
She was amazing. She's a huge inspiration, actually, especially for human resources and leadership.
Yes. So you
Right.
just put her picture next time there too.
Yeah.
Thank you. I will tell her.
Nice save, man. We have a question from Emil Johnson in the audience. What? Network is not all about Twitter. It's about meeting people, and Twitter is a tool to simplify networking.
That's absolutely correct. I didn't mean to limit networking to Twitter, of course not. It's just the most obvious one, and the one on the top on the surface. It's a means to get introduced and to find people, but it's not a replacement for meeting people in person. There's nothing that can replace a eye-to-eye, a face-to-face talk, of course. Also, Twitter is, as I said, only on the surface. See, geeks, they have completely different ways of communicating. Not just Twitter and Facebook and all the more obvious networks, but they have a whole underground network going on that is sort of exclusively available to geeks only. Only those that dive into, say, IRC or forums. The big advantage of those people and those networks is they're pre-filtered and very low noise level. Yeah.
Please, audience, don't forget that we can send Twitter questions and SMS questions to me at all times. I have a question for you.
Please.
Yesterday, we went to a bar in Stockholm, and we spoke about the social networking.
Right.
The social network. And, the way Zuckerberg is portrayed in that movie and being a prime geek, I'm not so sure I like to network too much with that guy, Could you elaborate on the sort of flip side of the geek?
Definitely. Well, that would probably be the first picture I showed you, the geek with the glasses and saying, I use Java. The socially inept person. Of course it has a background. Of course some geeks are socially inept. But that is changing dramatically ever since, say, 2005. I don't know why that year, but it started to change. People started to evolve. Technology became mainstream, and that is how geeks also adapted to real life, sort of. Zuckerberg portrayed in that movie is actually, I don't believe it's correct. I don't believe that guy is actually the way that he was portrayed in that movie. You still want to network with him, definitely.
Thanks. We got from Johanna B. tweet. She writes in Swedish, men visst kan man vara en geek inom andra områden. Can you be a geek in other areas,
Definitely.
surely, than IT?
Definitely. IT is just the prime culture behind all of the geekdom. You could be a business geek as well. You could be a flower geek, a bird watcher geek, tree hugger, whatever.
You don't only get rich, though. You don't get rich being a
Exactly.
tree hugger geek, so.
But IT is probably the hottest business, the hottest area of business currently, because with all internet technology and everything, it's never been easier to get a business going and to earn money, to create revenues. So that is why I thought it would be your best interest simply to focus on IT. But if you have different plans, it doesn't matter. You can still be the same geek as long as you share the same attributes, basically.
We got another question here. That will be the last one, I think. How do you motivate a non-geek if you have one employed?
That always depends on the person that you have on board. Geeks are very easy to motivate because as long as you can give them something to work on and give them the freedom to work on their own ideas and to learn and dedicate themselves to, that's easy. But for everybody else, there is no one single formula to motivate that. It's always a case-to-case study, basically. That is something that many people spend many hours on training and coaching to get to a position where they can handle anybody and motivate anybody. But I think some rule of thumbs are simply as long as you don't believe that you as a CEO are something better than your employees, and you do all the bad work, I mean the work that no one else wants to do, like taking out the trash or cleaning the office, I don't know. As long as you show, if you lead by example, it will always motivate other people as well.
Are you a keen user of Twitter yourself?
Not until recently, honestly, because I was using different networks. As I was saying, geeks use underground networks, sort of, which are not as visible as, say, Twitter. But I realized, especially for preparing for this event, if I'm going to preach about Twitter, I should probably go and start using it. So I started a couple of weeks ago, and I'm trying to build up my follower network now and try to get the filters in place that give me low noise information that I'm looking for.
According to my information here, you have managed to do 140 tweets in these last couple of weeks then.
Yeah.
Yeah, so pretty active there.
Well, I do have good idols, sort of. I do have good models that I can follow. See, at Hack Forward, there are tons of good people and tons of good business geeks, and they all Twitter non-stop. Like 10 tweets a day or something, even though it's sometimes not really business relevant or anything, but it's something that you simply have to do. Simply be active and Twitter all the time.
Thank you, Alex.
Well,
Yet again.
honors. Okay.